Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone today with Ashley Lee. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, how are you? It's so nice to meet you and everyone. I'm so glad to be here.
Yes. Well, Ashley and I haven't met in person, but we've met online. We got to have a long conversation about a week ago, and I am so excited about what she's doing. I wanted to introduce everyone in my audience with her work. She has this incredible site called Center for Conscious Kids. And I'll show the URL right now so that you can see it, but I'll show it throughout the conversation. And I wanted to find out your story. I mean, basically, this is first of all, this Conscious Business Zone, you have a site
Yes,
for conscious kids. They're our future.
they sure are.
Yeah, and we need to do the best job we can without high stress, which is, we can do this with fun.
We sure
I
can.
believe. But, so I guess I'd love to hear your story of how you got started and where this brilliant idea came from.
Well, thank you for asking. I mean, it's such an honor to share this story because it's super cute. I am a pediatric energy healer, and I 3 years ago, this idea of Center for Conscious Kids came to be, and I was in an office, and about 3 years ago, then I went out of my office and committed to going global, seeing kids and families all around the world for energy healing of all kinds of modalities to really bring in their whole true nature, bring in their whole energetic field, so balancing their physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And it was so neat while being in the office and having the kids come in, and they get so excited, and they said, now that I know the truth of me, now that I know who I am, now that I know what I want to do, where do I go to school? Where do I go eat? And I'm like, I don't know. And they said, well, who other practitioners do I go see? And I'm like, well, you can see an acupuncturist. There's lots of pediatric ones now. You can go see lots of people to help you with health and healing. And they said, really, where? And I said, well, exactly. So I'm here in San Diego in Southern California, and there's lots of healers here. But in other parts of the world and other parts of the United States, it's not as easy. And so many practitioners are going global as well, and they're going online, and they're seeing people energetically all over the world, which is fantastic. So I had an inspiration to share all of the people and all of the practitioners, schools, events, programs, even food. They say, what kind of food do I eat? And I said, well, we're all looking towards eating healthy, but how do we do that, and where do we go? Because a lot of the fast food restaurants 5-10 years ago were really challenged with serving high quality food. We're getting a lot better. All over the world, we're getting better with this idea of serving organic and high nutritional food, even in a fast food setting where we can have meals pretty rapidly. So in this idea, I created an online global listing website where people can list their products, their services. I interviewed a really neat company called Once Upon a Time, and they produce cold pressed baby food. And it's fantastic the way that they process and package the food. There's so many opportunities. There's preschools that are getting organic produce, people to ship in organic food that their chefs are cooking for the preschoolers, so that we're not having bagged, fast food that is not healthy, and juice boxes and other things. We're switching to healthy waters, healthy opportunity to eat, because they notice the kids sleep better during nap time, and they also learn easier, faster, with less emotional lability. That means their emotional states are more even keeled throughout the day in preschools when they're eating well. So there's all kinds of opportunities and services that people provide all over the globe to create conscious living. So I created a podcast series that interview people that share about the wonderful work they do and the amazing opportunities. I've interviewed young adults who are beginning in the world and really have a flavor for being a part of creating what we choose to see in the world. And so it's so exciting to be able to share around the world the opportunities that we could have to have alternative living that allows us to live consciously aware of
That's
ourselves, each other, right, in our environment.
that's so perfect. So are you seeing many studies on the after effects of? I know there are on meditation. And
Yeah.
of course, a lot of the people I get to spend time with are concerned about music and the arts in school. And I know there's studies, mostly international. I don't know that there's that many US based studies, but are
Yes.
there studies that support what you're doing?
So support what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is pretty new, a new idea of creating central hubs online on the internet so that people can access different support services and opportunities around the world to go to schools, to experience beautiful programs, to have events and food and practitioners. There aren't many hubs to support pediatric living and or children living in the world in a conscious environment for them and their families and their parents to really see that there are other opportunities on ways to live.
Well, the reason I asked it is I really see you're a skilled healer. You are a medical intuitive, an empath, a seer, and I see Jade Raiders on here. Hi, Jade. Jade is an amazing empath, and she creates
That's awesome.
products called Clear, which are clears that clear you from the obstacles. And as an empath, we have to do that.
Yes.
But
Yes, I support empathic children and other children that have high multisensory abilities and aren't sure how to navigate those in the world. And I think that's pretty vital because a lot of the times the children aren't, we don't have languaging yet to really describe this, to say, Mommy, when you get mad, I see red around you and I don't really understand what that means. And so we don't have languaging for that because then the mom doesn't go, what are you talking about? What does that mean? What do you mean you see red? There might be red in my eyes, right? But they don't understand that they see energies around their body. And so when we allow the parents an opportunity to go, wow, what is my child experiencing? I would like to ask a few compassionate questions. That means no judgments, right? An open, safe space to communicate what they're sensing and feeling. So you could say, like, kids would have the opportunity, let's say they're telepaths or they're advanced empaths that they can hear, what the mom's experiencing emotionally. And so, the young child can say, Mom, I hear you say really harsh things out to the world. What's going on? What's the matter? And right. And then the mom goes, what do you mean? And so the mom doesn't even realize that maybe she's saying that unconsciously, right? I'm sick of doing dishes. I can't believe I have to do this. I'm at everybody's beck and call. Why? I don't have any time for me. And so the child hears that and doesn't from inside the mom's body that's emitting out to the environment.
right.
And the child doesn't know how to respond to that. And then the mom says, well, I didn't say anything. So what we're doing is we're closing the gap of these multisensory experiences for
Perfect.
children and parents to understand that their thoughts and feelings may not be private to their own experience.
Well, I
That
think that's a big part of this whole the evolution of our species is coming from the younger ones, but they're training us older ones, the parents and the grandparents, because we have those capabilities, but most people have shut them down. And they are they're the gems and the richness of life that can come through when a parent can support a almost supernatural superhero type child and not shut it down, because the social construct is, you have to fall in line. It's a tribal consciousness, and that came from living in small groups, and if you were different, you were out. It was a
right.
mechanism, but we don't have to do that anymore.
No, we don't.
Right.
And it's so wonderful because you're right. A lot of adults had shut down maybe their abilities to feel other people's feelings or to experience other people's perceptions more literally inside their experience in their bodies. That is to, I don't know. I think all of us on one level or another, we might have walked by a stranger, somebody we didn't know, and we didn't have a stomach ache. And then all of a sudden we have a stomach ache. What does that mean? That means we're connected to each other. That means we care about each other. That means we love each other, even if we don't know each other's names or talk to each other. And so the children are reminding us again, and our whole world is reminding us again, because these multisensory abilities, I don't know, I used to say they're psychic, but they're not really psychic. They're heart-centered abilities where we have multisensory experiences that exceed our typical five senses. And when we get inside that information, it allows us to really know that we're connected. So like, for example, so it's like an internal Wi-Fi system. We have a phone, right, that shares with us how we can talk to each other without a cord sticking out of it, right? So we have Wi-Fi. Well, in Hawaii, where I'm from, we call it the coconut wireless, right? And many people call it that. So that's how we're connected, and we don't always realize that we're connected in those subtle. They're subtle for most people, but for highly energetic people, they're not subtle at all. They're just as real as talking.
Right.
So what you say here or what you say here is just as real as what comes out of your mouth.
Exactly.
And a lot of the parents and older adults, yeah, maybe more.
Yep. Yeah.
Because we're a society that's attuned to seeing what's wrong or bad. And then we're focused, and we say a lot of not so wonderful talk to ourselves and each other behind closed doors, right? Behind, in the mind and behind the heart. We say a lot of things that aren't so positive because we're trying to navigate what's happening in our world, and we don't understand why things are so awry or discordant or dysfunctional. And we're always trying to find out, why is it dysfunctional? What can we do about it? And we want to fix it. And instead, these kids are coming in, yeah, I see that it's dysfunctional. I see that it doesn't work. And let's focus on what we do want versus what we don't want.
Right. Well, they're in their heart, and there's no, as long as you don't shut them down, they're already totally awake. It's my belief that with this time that we're in right now, and we've been in it for a little while, because we're moving towards in line with the galactic core of our universe, that we're being showered with photon light, and everyone's going to end up being empathic, whether
yes.
or not.
Well, when you mentioned research, I don't know if any research has happened inside perinatal work. That means pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, and post-pregnancy, about how we really are connected and what that means energetically. And all human babies are born empathic because their primary languaging with their outside world is emotions. And they utilize emotions. They don't have to learn how to have emotions. They have emotions.
Right.
And they usually either have, and the first emotion is usually described as discomfort, crying, right? It's in a state of fear. It's not our natural nature. And our natural nature is love. And it takes a little while for them to express love, right? Most newborns express love by quietness, sleepiness, soft and subtle. Their body is just melts in your hands, right? That's their first emotion of love, right? It takes a little while to smile, right? And for them to learn how to use their facial muscles.
Yeah.
So that's an outward expression of how they're feeling inside. So they really do. They have two basic emotions, love and fear. And they express those very well. They know that innately. They don't have to learn it. We actually learn languaging and mental constructs to be able to describe how it is our perception is, so that we can describe it to the person we're working with or talking to or relating to.
Right.
Yeah.
And that actually reduces the energy, I think, that's available to have the communication. Once you put it into language, if you can just beam it from your heart,
Yes.
that's more efficient. And I do wonder about I feel like the internet is training wheels for us all to be telepathic. I know synchronicities are happening more, but I feel like, you can just think about somebody and they call you, or text,
Right.
now text also. but um, but it should be interesting to see. It's almost training wheels for us. I'm a grandparent, you're a parent, for the adults. Um,
Right.
I don't know if I want to be that mature, but the adults. So, are you finding that more the people that you're working with are, the parents are conscious, or more awake?
I see a mixture of all kinds, which is really beautiful. Many that are awake. And what does awake mean? Awake means that we're aware of our environment. We're aware of our consciousness. What is our consciousness? It is thoughts, it is emotions, it is beliefs, values, and systems and constructs of what we create our world to be,
Mm-hmm.
and how we express that. And many times we have consciousness challenges. And inside those consciousness challenges, it can be lack, it can be victim, it can be addiction, it can be many, many things that kind of steer us out of our true nature. And what do we mean by true nature? It is simply love,
Right,
right?
right,
And when we express our love, and we can express love in so many ways, positive ways and even negative ways, or not so positive ways, it's still an expression of love. It's just maybe not the best for us to each interact with each other, right? And
right,
this opportunity, Center for Conscious Kids, is an opportunity for parents and kids really to enjoy other ways of experiencing nature. So we talk about spirit camps. We talk about all kinds of things, of ways to connect with nature, like cleaning up the ocean. I just talked to conservatory people about how we can stop plastics going into our ocean, how we can change that at the consumer level before we even buy plastics,
right.
not knowing, not knowing that plastics degrade to such a level that the fish are starting to eat it.
Right. Well, there's hemp now. There's all these other alternative
Right.
plastic that if enough people demand that be as a consumer, they want to use hemp, not uh
Not plastics.
petrol. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's so many ways that we can share. And like you talked about for a few minutes on meditation, on Center for Conscious Kids, we have a children's meditation program.
Oh,
And we're launching that to support people inside a small membership to support the growth of Center for Conscious Kids. It's like $12 a month. But really what it is to support the practitioners and other people to gain more momentum, to understand how children meditate and how families can meditate. What we're showing on Center for Conscious Kids in the children's meditation program is that children meditate while awake. They meditate while playing. And what does meditation really mean? Meditation means to quiet your mind, get
right.
us out of the oogly mental mind of the to-do list, day-to-day mind chatter. He bothered me, she bothered me, I bothered everybody else, I have a laundry list, I have to, when we
Yeah,
clear that in our mind, we open to connecting to that multisensory universe that's all around us. The
right.
trees, the birds, the dog, even the house. The house could say, get out, go enjoy life, right? It's all kinds of things. We have access to information all around us to understand how to relate. Relating through love, relating through our heart, relating through our soul, and feeding everyone and nurturing everyone around us, including ourselves.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so cool. So Zena Kozar says, "Oh, how I wish I thought this way when my kids were born."
Yeah, we didn't.
A lot of us are, I mean, we were trying to please still be, get, conditional love was how we were brought up. If you were a good girl, you got love. And so there
Right.
still were social constructs that you followed so you get love. But
Exactly.
it always felt temporary. It always felt like, oh, well, we'll see how long this lasts. But, I mean,
Exactly. Well, and not only that, is you brought up the whole idea of, if we're not used to our languaging of saying, Mom, I have one child. She was really cute. She's a teenager, and she said, Mom, you say stop it 20, 30 times a day. And mom says, no, I only said it 3 times. And I said, well, wait a second. Maybe both of you are right. Maybe mom said it 3 times, but
Which,
mom thought it 21 times. And it was so cute. And she goes, yeah, Mom, I can hear you even in your thoughts. And she goes, I hate this telepathy thing. And I said, well, I'm sorry to tell you that really telepathy's been around forever.
right.
And we're just starting to talk about it now, and it's okay. We just get to help you retrain your mind. So if you say stop it a whole lot, we want you to notice that. Those are unconscious thoughts. So what is behind the stop it? You want your child to not be so overwhelmed and worried about the world. So that's why she's here to help learn how to navigate, because the world is overwhelming. So in her class, she's hearing Johnny talk about Susie's body because they're 15. And Susie's talking about Sally throwing her under the bus on the last text.
Oh God.
And so all of this telepathic communication between students is going on, and she doesn't know it because that's her reality. But no one else is experiencing it the same way. So
Wow.
she's sitting at her desk going, I don't want to see this, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to deal with this. And it's overwhelming. So I said, so what do we need to do? Well, in a classroom where the other kids don't know that their thoughts are not private to their experience, and it's not appropriate to say socially, by the way, I can hear everybody's thoughts. So could you stop talking about each other's bodies and how you hate each other? Could we stop talking about that? Because I can't even hear the teacher talk.
Well,
So instead, what I did was just teach the child also that they can turn down their abilities so that they can focus on auditory hearing instead of telepathic or clairaudient hearing.
yeah.
And so they can work and they can navigate their abilities, their powers. So I keep losing my mic. That it's similar, and that in that similarity they can have distinctions to understand how to tone down one and bring up the other in an environment that's more appropriate. And they can say things like, I support the whole classroom knowing that I can really hear it, but they can say it and energetically send it out so that maybe they become more conscious with their unconscious thoughts. So even the kids, so that they can access, wow, maybe I need to clean up my inner thoughts too a little bit and start to work with that in ways that are more loving and more sharing with each other.
So do you have ways for adults to work with those thoughts? Because I had Tamara Oviatt on yesterday, and she does this process called sacred activations, and it is your subconscious is running your little video show that you're in.
Yes. And so what we do with that, I do brain integration work. I help the left brain and the right brain connect with each other. Then when we're fully connected in the brain and our ability to process information, and we process information through proprioception as well. So our mental and emotional thoughts come through our body physically, through the middle of our hands, our wrists, our elbows, our shoulders, our TMJ joint, all through the major joints. We receive information, mental information, or omniscient knowing information, and we receive emotional information. And inside that, sometimes it's hard to navigate. That's why empaths, let's say you're happy and you walk across a bunch of people and all of a sudden you're sad or you're freaked out or you're anxious and you're like, what's going on? I'm suddenly changed. Well, you picked up the energies of another person, an emotional energy. And what happened inside of that, so I teach empaths how to discern, how to connect, clear their mind, connect to their inner guidance and say just truthfully, honestly, is this my emotion? Did I create this? Because I'm the source of my emotions.
Perfect.
Or is this somebody else's emotion? And did I pick this up? Oh, this is somebody else's. Okay, great. Whose emotion is it? Oh, it's his over there. Okay, cool. So I don't know him. So it wouldn't be appropriate to go up to him and say, I sense you're anxious. May I help you? Because he'll go, what are you talking about? Yeah, I got the anxiety right over here. So it sets up for a strange conversation. So
Yeah.
instead, what we can do is, as empaths, we feel other people's pain and suffering. I support everyone turning that around a little bit. Why don't we practice feeling each other's happiness?
Oh, that'd be great. So, so
So, so what we can do is when they're having a moment of distress, for example, somebody's having a moment of distress, you feel that distress in your body. What you can do is say, I breathe, I let that stress out of my body. Thank you, body, for letting me know that this person is struggling. And what I can do is just share with them love. I see you for who you really are. I know, I sense you're struggling. It's okay, you're struggling. You can go through this. I trust you. I have compassion for you. I recognize that you can do this. And so, you can ask the universe, please support this person on their day, in their journey, so that they're able to move through this distressful moment they're experiencing.
right.
So whatever that person believes in comes in, God, Buddha, whoever comes in. Maybe it's even a live person. Maybe it's a parent, or it's a spouse, or someone.
Their support team. I mean, everyone's
Yes.
support team, and most of them are bored to death.
That's because we haven't learned how to tap into our team, right?
It's like, don't you want to do something today?
And so that's why we support meditation. Is meditation really is connecting to your inner guidance.
Right.
And that inner guidance can be an environment. There's so many access points. And I think adults kind of forget about all the access points that we have to connect to inner guidance. The kids have it everywhere. So in the children's meditation program, what we do is support parents and kids connecting, meditating, and then creating valuable conversation after the meditation. What'd you get in your inner guidance? And the kids will say, I saw colors, and I saw energy patterns, and I saw shapes. Like when we were kids, we used to have an art toy called Spirograph.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, these kids are seeing Spirograph, right, in their mind's eye, in their hearts. They're seeing it all over, right? And what does it mean? What did the colors tell you? So we learn to talk to the energies. And when we learn to talk to the energies, either talk with our hearts. When we talk with the energies, what happens is that they start to share. When we take a moment to relax our mind, when we take a moment to really tune in and listen without any attachments to the outcome, we just want to hear that truth flow through us. What happens is more understanding, more simplicity, more ease and grace flow through our lives.
Right.
And we open the energy flows in our body, which actually reduces disease conditions and illnesses.
Of course. Yes. Yes. Because you're not discordant. You're right.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. So
Yes.
Xana is Xana, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Says, speaking of teenagers, when parents wake up a bit late in a game and programming by parents and society has been impacted, how to help them become more in tune with themselves?
That is such a beautiful question. I agree with you. I have a 21-year-old daughter, and I don't think I was awake during her younger years. I mean, I think I was, and I wasn't, and I was waking up too, and it's fascinating because I think however our process is perfect in the moment. I think remembering that is really powerful.
Yeah.
And that we're all in here to awaken to our true nature, which is love, and learning how to express and relate it. And what I think is really awesome is, as a parent, look at how you're parenting, look at how you're interacting, look at how you're relating, and maybe some of the triggers that are created inside yourself from our own self-judgments, and then also triggers from the child's learned behavior patterns. And you can start to say, by creating an open space in that relating and that conversation is really awesome. And that open space is really creating compassion. And I don't mean compassion like pity or sorrow. I mean really absence of judgments, where there's no judgments. You can say and do and be. And if you're mad and angry and feeling awful, that's okay. And what we want to do with that emotional baggage that we're carrying, even the teenagers that are carrying, say, take a moment to let that go so that we can be new and fresh in this moment to really pursue what some of those triggers are. And many of those triggers are our own internal beliefs.
Right, of course.
So what do you believe that I'm going to do? You know, you're asking the teenager, what do you believe that I'm going to do? Well, mom, you're always mad. Or mom, you know, you're so busy, you're not paying any attention, or you don't hear what I have to say. Say, you're totally right. We were programmed to listen to one thing at a time, focus on one thing. But what if we're here really as amazing beings that have multiple senses of awareness at the same time? And we do. And you're right. Many women can multitask and do different things. So I really am listening. But if you really want me to hear you really well, ask me a question. Because when you ask me a question, you tell me that you're waiting for the answer. So you're listening. And then I'm listening because I'm now going to engage to answer your question.
Perfect.
So if you really want my attention, it's called setting the listening. So we have, as a society, we're very egocentric inside of our languaging. It's all me related. Me to myself, me to the world, and me to you. And instead, we want to start engaging on that energetic relating and how is the relating happening back and forth. And judgments create walls between us and the other person, even us and ourselves.
Right.
And so we want to start reducing those judgments. What are those judgments? Okay, I got self-judgments. Okay, I can't believe I doubt you know. And so move into all of that and start bringing those down. Start bringing those out of your awareness. Say, I let go of this because I know that that's interfering with our ability to relate with each other.
Right.
So compassion with no judgments, letting go of any judgments that you notice is totally okay. If you have a belief or a resistance, you go, I can't let go of that judgment. To go, oh, I have a resistance. That's awesome. Now I can heal it, right?
Right.
I have a resistance. If I let go that judgment, then they'll take advantage of me. Well, maybe not.
How do you deal with that? I'd love to know that because that conversation's come up a lot this past week, where we're going to a new decade. It feels fresh and new. Who knows what? But the energies are. I'm very optimistic because more people are waking up. More people are doing things like what we're doing, and they're speaking their truth. That a lot of them were afraid to come out before. So
Right.
you feel this, but it's sort of still stepping off the one mountainside and jumping over to the other, and you're not quite sure, the universe or nature or energy abhors a void. So it will be filled, but there's that fear of letting go of the old construct, even if it does, even though you're aware it's not serving anymore.
Yeah.
Do you have, because you're working with you're like molding clay at what you're doing, whereas a lot of us, the people I work with, I'm working with people that are brilliant lights. They came here for a soul mission, but again, the jump off, the what if I didn't have that thought, or but it's not getting to 0 point. With like in meditation, you get to 0 point, you get to this even keel point. What I'm talking is going all the way to joy. I'm talking about going to that in the fire in your system, like what you had to start the Center for Conscious Kids. That was a divine assignment.
Yes.
But you went through the fear or the I don't know how to do that and just kept plugging along to do it. Whereas so many people that I see, how do you have any suggestion for that breakthrough?
Well, I think you're talking about many levels and layers of breakthroughs. The first one that I see and sense is when we live in a very conditional experience, right? We have to have reason for everything, and that's based upon past experiences. When we let go of those past experiences and say, okay, in the past this happened, these things happened, and this is my belief system based upon those past experiences, we don't normally think like that. We don't normally say, I believe I should wear a jacket when it's cold because of my past experience. Went outside and I was cold and I was intolerant to the cold. Now, what if you went outside, didn't wear a jacket, and decided to teach your body how to be adaptive to the environment that it's in? Because when we teach adaptiveness or adaptogenic abilities in the body, we recognize that there are more possibilities than we ever knew were there. When we open up to new possibilities, our creativity begins to flow, our understanding starts to flow. We start to ask questions to the universe, and we start to relate to each other differently with more compassion. When we do that and we become more centered and we become aligned at that 0 point, right? The point where there's no judgments, it's just open creativity. Now, when you're talking about then moving into the level of high levels of passion or emotion, utilizing emotions as a tool or an opportunity to accelerate physical manifestation.
Right.
And I think that's what's so important. But it's also important to recognize in society, we spend so much time, or we used to, and spend so much time chasing happiness, making happiness, controlling it, conjuring it, doing all kinds of things to create happiness and joy. I sense that a really positive way to support creating happiness and joy in your life is to start by creating peace. When we create peace, and what is peace? Peace is the absence of stress. So if you have stress, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, or any combination of that, notice where they're coming from as a root cause and start to disassemble that so that you can start to create genuine peace in every moment of every day, even if there's chaos around you, right? And that when we have that internal peace, that heart-centered peace, then we start to see, because happiness flows naturally.
Right.
And it's not that super excited happiness, right? It's that gentle, flowing, open happiness and joy. When you have that, then start to create your world around you, even problem solve from that space. And you will create more happiness and joy that can be accelerated inside your physical world around you. And I mean your relating world too.
Right.
Those you are relating with, that happiness and joy starts to flourish.
Perfect.
Well, when all of us older folks, I'm going to say, that are stuck in the paradigm of got to push, got to demand, got to do, got to be. When we keep doing that, we're chasing happiness, we're demanding it, we're expecting it. And I can tell you, we get into the daily grind, the hamster wheel of doing that. It's time for us to step off of that hamster wheel, really learn how to create innate peace. Joy and happiness flows. And then where would you like to create from that pedestal?
Yeah.
I think that really accelerates our happiness and joy within ourselves, within each other, and creating in our life circumstances from that foundation.
Yes. I think that that's the only way we'll be able to co-create this new world that really is heaven on earth. I mean,
Yes.
we just took a left turn for a little while. Well, that was, everything is divinely orchestrated. There is nothing that's a mistake or a flaw, and you can't make a mistake. You can make a left turn and then eventually take a right turn again, but there's always we're in Earth school. Our souls wanted to be here exactly at this time to have this amazing experience, to watch our species evolve. I mean, really.
Right. And I think you brought up a very valuable point. When we have something wrong or bad or discordant, I support people in taking a moment to really bring in some laughter, even if it's really horrible. And maybe it's inappropriate to laugh out loud, but I want you to laugh inside, because laughter helps break that tension and helps release those emotions of fear or fright or overwhelm or frustration. And take a moment to let those go and go, wait a second, this situation is not going so well. Okay, how can I change this around? This is an opportunity to create change, to create a difference, to change my mind, my mood, my value system, so that I'm able to really connect and create in the way that I want to. And it's very powerful to know that we can actually stop in the moment. So I laugh at myself. I go, wait a second, I'm having a sensitive moment. I acted out. I said something really awful. Wow. Oh my God. And so then you go, wow, okay, I'm sorry. I forgive myself. I let go of those self-judgments. I tune into what's really going on. What are the triggers that created that response in me? I don't have to have my autonomic nervous system, my ego, my emotional self control me. I instead get to go, okay, thank you guys inside me for reacting. I get it.
Yeah.
We're not happy with that. There's a belief that drives why I'm not happy with it. So I get to evaluate that and change that if I like. And in the moment, I get to let go of my emotion. And what emotion would I like to create while I'm working with this problem? Because if I choose to work from it from peace or courage or trust, the problem versus anger, frustration, and irritation, I'm actually going to create trustful, courageous answers inside that problem solving.
Right.
If I continue to have the idea or the belief that I have to stay angry until that other person fixes it, then what happens is I bring in vengeance, I bring in retaliation, I bring in maybe, and those aren't good things. So then I'm going to judge myself and suppress it all. So now I'm running around with suppressed vengeance, anger, and upset at somebody for doing something. And it never solves the problem. It festers. And it festers in our physical bodies for decades, if not a lifetime.
Right.
And we are here really to learn about that awareness. And that's what we mean conscious, is becoming aware of these discords so that we can navigate them, we can process them, and we can move them out of our experience.
Perfect. It's perfect. And I'm so glad you're doing this work. I'm so glad you've created this incredible online resource. I'll show the website again for everyone, Center for Conscious Kids. I'm a huge fan. I really hope to see that a lot of the people that watch this replay and see this later on YouTube, that they'll want to go check out the site and see if they should be listed as a resource there.
I'm so excited. There's many types of people that come to the website. There are those practitioners and people who have products and services that want to share with the world. Please come join the community. This is a global website. I'm interested. We featured people who do music therapy, that gong in Iceland, that connect the kids and families to the elementals so that we can connect to nature again and really hear what they have to say. I have a conscious singer in Toronto, Canada, who sings and shares how we connect our head to our heart, and many other healing modalities of healing the heart and the body through music, through conscious music. There's people all over the world. There's one in the Netherlands who creates archetypes. They're like, basically we can tune in. And so if we're having trouble studying, for example, we can bring in the alchemist archetype and bring that into our body and understanding and that knowledge base to help us do better in science in school. There's so many beautiful ways of being and sharing that. Please come on and share your knowledge, your gifts, your energy system, and your passion, your purpose to the world. For all of those who are interested in learning how to live more consciously, really come and visit the site, especially like if you're going to a new city or you're going to a new space or you're moving to a place and you want to know what consciousness is happening in your town. Come on to Center for Conscious Kids. Check it out. It's really a beautiful place to explore different ways of living. If in your town you don't have what's on there, what if you contact people and start to grow and be part of the community to grow that and develop that system, that service, or that product that helps us live consciously?
Right. And this is a healthier way to live. This is a more holistic opportunity to engage the knowledge and the practices that'll change your life for the better. So that's why this fits so beautifully with Conscious Business Zone, because the conscious business owners are busy, providing products and services for their clients, but they need to be able to take care of themselves and make conscious choices. So thank you so much, Ashley, for
thank you
another
all.
resource. Thank you so much. And it's such a delight what you're doing. Thank you so much for your gifts in the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
We are the proof we choose to create.
Yes. Yes. And we are co-creators with the universe, and this is the time. This is why we came here. So look at this and take advantage of this incredible resource. And if you are a healer, please go to the site and see about listing yourself, so
Yeah.
more people can find you. Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. It was great. Great. Thank you.